Hey guys, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review. This is going to be of the brand new Marvel Legends series Target exclusive Tracksuit Mafia army builder from the Disney Plus Hawkeye show. Very interesting choice for an army builder. I actually think it's a pretty cool choice. Not only can you make this work as Tracksuit Mafia in the MCU, but you could really make this work as an army builder maybe for comic figures as well, and maybe just a generic civilian too in a tracksuit. Originally, I did notice it was like 27, 28 bucks. I went to my local Target recently, got a few of these actually, and they were 25 now. So I would try to take advantage of that if you could find these at $25 each. You've been seeing the packaging here in a 360 view for a while. Here is the barcode in case you need that if you are looking for this. The pre-orders are still sold out on Target's website right now, but I think you might be able to find these in stores soon. Anyway, here is the figure out of the packaging, and this particular head sculpt here is packaged with the figure. Really nice so far. It does come with a lot of stuff, and for what is now 25 bucks, I do think it is worth it. A bit steep for an army builder, but still rather nice. Let's go ahead, take a look at the accessories, then we'll take a closer look at the figure. Here's an image of all the accessories this figure comes with. 2 extra heads and a bunch of different weapons. Some we've seen before, some we haven't in the line. No guns, unfortunately, but I can make do with the guns that I already have in my collection. Here is the head for, I believe the character's name was Kazi. This was like one of the main Tracksuit Mafia characters that was seen mostly with Echo. And pretty good likeness, I think. Let me bring in the image, actually. I usually do this. The likeness to the actor, I actually don't think is too bad. I think the sculpt is there. I think the face printing could be a tiny bit better, but this is actually a pretty good likeness overall. When we look at it, some of the, I have to zoom in a little bit more. It's a little hard to tell, but if you look really close to the eyes, some of the face printing in there is a little bit fuzzy, but it's really hard to tell, so I'm not going to really knock on Hasbro too much for that. Scar painted right there above the eyebrow, as well as around the cheek too. And then they did paint on the facial hair. I think it could look a little bit better. Some parts it's not coming through a little bit, like there's a little bit too much skin tone there. And maybe that's how his facial hair is done. I could be wrong. We just have this basic sculpt. Not really basic, but it's like the paint work is there's not really there. That's why I was calling it basic, which is not necessarily a bad thing here. The actual sculpting here is actually really nice. It says brown, dark brown plastic here. Overall, pretty nice head sculpt. And then we have this masked head sculpt, which I think already has face printing on there as well. This is really good. You can use this for, I wonder how well this is going to fit on other characters' heads. So you can use this for really anything you'd like. Is this a splotch or is this some type of dirt? I think that might be, that's some kind of dirt. Okay. I thought there was a paint splotch. Face printing again. It's a little fuzzy in some areas, not too bad though. And then the way that they have sculpted the fabric for this, this mask here, really nice. Let's talk about the things we haven't seen yet. I don't believe we've gotten a Molotov cocktail before. Really nice fire effect going on there with like the orangish, yellowish going on. Slightly translucent plastic. It's mostly molded. I believe it is molded mostly in the translucent plastic because it's all one piece here. And then I guess they painted over the translucent plastic with this green. And they did a really good job making this go into this. Like, I don't see any green going in here and vice versa. Maybe a little bit right here where my fingernail is, but you really can't tell. They did a really good job. And yes, it's a bit, you know, basic again with how they've done the bottle, but it still looks really good. The crowbar, I feel like we've gotten this before, but I could be wrong. I was trying to look up characters that we may have had this in the Marvel Legends line. I don't think anyone's had a crowbar yet. It's just mostly in a very basic, I say that a lot with this, black sculpt, but it does have a little bit of detailing in the actual plastic to where it's kind of like a little bit steel looking, I guess. It looks really good. And then the golf club, I believe, was the original tease for this at one of their, one of Marvel Legends live streams. They teased the golf club. Looking really good. I'm actually digging that. I'm not going to pretend to know every single part of a golf club, but this part with that detailing looks good. The silver right here, that's nice, and the black handle comes really nice. The paint work is really nice on all of that. So we've gotten this before. It's just a baseball bat molded in a silver color. It actually looks really good though. I'm really, no complaints here. I've always liked the sculpt of this baseball bat. It's a pretty hard plastic. And then we have the machete, which the handle could have better paint. It's pretty plain, but the actual blade part, that silver paint looks really great. So a lot of pretty good accessories here. So I'm not even going to pretend to act like I know who this particular character or actor is. I do apologize in advance. I do kind of remember them from the show, and here's an image of the actor in particular on one of the posters. And I think that they did get this likeness down pretty nicely. I think the fact that, no discredit to the actor, but they're not as big of a name as like Robert Downey Jr. or some of the other ones in this line. Sometimes they won't get perfectly in the line if it's a bigger name actor. They got down pretty well with this one, though. This particular head sculpt looks really good. The eyes are really nicely printed on there. They look very realistic. Maybe if I can get a little closer, you can see a little bit of fuzziness sometimes, like in the eyes and around the nose. I've been noticing that with some of the face printing on these Marvel Legends lately, but it really isn't that big of a deal. I think they might just be adding some complexion to some of these characters, which makes it look a little bit more lifelike. The beard is nicely sculpted. The paint is a little heavy. I wish it was maybe there's like a little bit of shading, just a little bit of paint variation would have been nice. There's a little bit of skin tone coming through there too, but that does not look bad. The lip color, all that looks rather nice as well. It's a little bit bright on my camera, but you can kind of see a crease in the forehead. That might be from the printing. So that is something I wanted to mention. And then the hair. It's not super detailed here. It's just mostly a little bit of detailing and very blonde hair here. One thing I want to talk about that is new is this entire torso. We'll talk about the reuse right after this. This whole new torso is just for the tracksuit characters. I wonder if they'll use this for other characters in the future. Not really sure what comes to mind right now. But the way that they did a lot of detailing, like the wrinkles in the whole suit, looks really good. Up here with the zipper and that black shirt, that comes through really nice. And this is on a dumbbell joint as well. You can tell that this collar piece is a separate piece, so they may be able to change this out in the future depending on the character. Not entirely sure. Again, who I can think of. It does leave a little bit of, you can see some gaps slightly because it is separate plastic. I can forgive that a little bit. I do wish maybe we had some more like actual paint going on in the zipper here. I don't know, I actually don't remember if these are supposed to look like this. Sometimes they are this color, depending on the tracks that you get. But anyway, there at least it's sculpted, so you can see some details in there at least. There's actually some line work right here going up. It's like a little bit of like a brighter red compared to this already pretty bright red there. And the way that this line here is, it is actually sculpted on here. That's cool to see. I'm feeling the rest of it. I think actually it could be wrong. No, there is some sculpting going on there. I had to just check. So what else is there? I think these are just breaks for attaching, like, gluing the plastic together. I don't really think this is part of the actual design. There's a little bit of paint going on there with the gray, the tracksuit. And then one thing I want to mention is the crotch piece is new because it's the rest of the tracksuit here. I kind of wish they figured out a way to end it here just at the upper torso and not continue it into the crotch piece. Because if you wanted to use this, then you'd have to use this, and I guess this is serviceable enough if you want to like kit bash and customize, but I don't know. The fact that you rotate this around and all that breaks up a little bit. Actually, there's a little chewed up plastic here. I don't know if it's supposed to look like that, but that is just, it's not really a complaint. It's just something I wanted to mention, is that customizing could be a little bit difficult because this could, if you just use the upper torso and not the crotch piece, it could look weird without this. But the paint could be a little bit better in some areas. I can see a little bit of dark red and a brighter red, but all that sculpting is still rather nice. So what is reused? The jacket arms are reused, and the legs are reused too. I don't have the figure that has the legs reused, but we'll talk about that in a second. This here, and I've modified this body here, but this is the jacket that is featured on the Stan Lee, Peter Parker, and the Hood characters, similar to that. And you can see pretty much the exact same sculpting, of course, with the pins there. It does break up the gray stripes going on there, which mostly are painted pretty well. Same thing here, a little bit of sloppiness, just ever so slightly near the joint there, but not too bad. There's something weird on, there's like a black scuff there. And you can see like the detailing of like the cuff there, and these hands have been featured plenty of times with suit characters where it's more of an open hand, and then a gun here that is slightly, ever so slightly has a trigger finger separated there. And then these legs, I don't have it anymore, but these are reused from the Mr. Knight figure from last year, whatever that other Disney Plus wave was with Moon Knight and some of the Hawkeye figures. As you can see, pinless tech going on here. I did originally think it was reusing the legs from Jigsaw. It is not, because not only for the pinless, but the way the knee looks is different. It's a little bit hard to tell, but the way that the details are done with the bottom towards the shoes there are also different too. But gray pinstripe, all that is really nice. It's really not pinstripe, is it? But there is sculpting right here, right where the red meets the gray, so that's cool. And they've even continued the paint on the joint right there, so that's really sick. That's what the inside looks like with all the wrinkles and all that. A little bit of a scuff right there. And then we've gotten these shoes plenty of times, I believe, with like Peter Parker and other characters as well. The laces are nicely done. That's what the bottom looks like. So again, really good amount of reuse and new stuff here. You can use this just as it is, or maybe it's even, you know, possible to use this with other characters and figures that we've gotten for customizing purposes. Standard Marvel Legends articulation in recent years, dumbbell joint, which could move a little better, but it can go side to side. The up motion could be better. Trying to move it up. Could be better, but not too bad. And then the down motion, also could be better. It swivels with no problem though. Arms go all the way around here. They do go out pretty far. Upper arm swivel. We do have double jointed elbows. Swivel at the wrist and a hinge at the wrist. This is for the other hand as well. Back that far, which is pretty far, but it does break up the sculpt pretty goofily. I don't even know if that's how you say a word. Forward is not as bad. You can still kind of see it though. Waist twist there. The legs going out is not the greatest, unfortunately. It's not going to need to do a pose like that too much. Back is non-existent. The splits are actually pretty good. Upper thigh swivel is pretty tight on this, but not too bad. Knees, oh boy, rather tight with that pinless tech. You can see that's how far it bends. And then we do have a swivel here, which is nice. And then down, oh boy, okay, down might need, I wish it was a little better. Not too bad actually. And the up is pretty good. And then ankle rockers. Measuring out the figure, pretty basic size Marvel Legends, going to be around 16.5 centimeters. And that is going to put this one here at about right at or just under 6.5 inches. As you can see with size comparisons, mostly Marvel Legends, I have that Disney Plus Hawkeye, as well as Netflix Daredevil and Retro Collection Spider-Man. All of them scale pretty well together. I think Tracksuit Mafia here is a tiny bit shorter, but it still works pretty well. I think it actually might be taller than Hawkeye a bit. All of them are going to be taller than Black Series Mando, though. Overall, a very awesome army builder from the Hasbro Marvel Legends team. I think they did a really great job. What new is here is mixed in very well with the reuse. I think the actual reused parts work super well with this new torso. I really like all the accessories, even though some of it is reused accessories from the past. They're still pretty good. And the new stuff here is awesome. The head sculpts are done really well. It's just that if you buy multiples of these figures, you're going to have extra head sculpts lying around, unfortunately. The actual face printing and sculpting on the unmasked head sculpts is really good too. Articulation, it could be a little bit better, but I don't need Tracksuit Mafia doing ninja poses or anything like that. Really the only problem is two things: the price, which some places are still charging $27, $28, and I was able to find mine for $25 at a local Target, and the fact that it is a Target exclusive, so you know some people might have a trouble finding this. But overall, a very solid figure and one that you are definitely going to want to army build. The price, hopefully you can get for $25, because even at that, I think it's worth it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.